What's up, everybody? And welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color in IT who've made it to the proverbial other side of the firewall. So today, I have a special guest. I have Chelsea Pierre from Blerds Leading Technology, and she is our very first interviewee. So I'm extremely excited. So how are you doing today?
Doing fine. How are you?
I can't complain. I definitely can't complain. So, for the audience, if you could just give us just who you are and what your company's about.
Sure, no problem. So, hello everybody. Yes, my name is Chelsea Pierre. I'm the founder and CEO of Blerds Leading Technology. And yes, for those it is Blerds. Let me add this. I did not create the term Blerds because many people ask. It was there way before my time, but it stands for Black Nerds. So it's Black Nerds Leading Technology, Blerds Leading Technology. And what it is a technological hub. So no matter what stage you are in your career, it is kind of a cradle to grave or cradle to grave resource hub. So if you become a member, you have access to certification vouchers, training, IT career consultants, business career consultants. I partner with venture capitalists, different ones at your disposal, Black owned ones. And it is so much resume editors. All of that is free to you by becoming a member. And we have several packages depending on what stage you are and what you need. So that is the quick phase, elevator pitch of my company.
Got you. No, I appreciate that. It's definitely well said. So I'm definitely impressed with your company. We have a similar, or I should say, we have a mentor or a friend in our lives that kind of put us together. So shout out to Jeffrey Lodick for definitely. As soon as I said, "Hey, I have this idea," and then part of my podcast name is the name of your podcast, so don't sue me. Like the first thing he did was he added you immediately. He was like, "Yeah, I know somebody who you definitely need to speak to. She definitely fits the platform, and you guys should definitely work together." So here we are. So I definitely appreciate your time and definitely spreading your message because it definitely does blend to the platform really well. Um, so with that being said, I know a lot of people ask, at least me, I assume also you the same question, like what got you into IT?
Well, honestly, I was probably Air Force. And so I could say I tested into it. So I tested into it and I grew a type of love for it. I went to school. I did not think at that time that I would be intelligent enough for it. I had a different perspective of what an IT career was and what the depiction that, TV back at that time and media made it look like. And I said, you know what? That's not me. That is not a reflection of me. But got into it, loved it. It challenged me. It grew me. It has its rewards. It definitely has its challenges. It has its stereotypes that I definitely try to break, and it is very rewarding. So I've done different areas from networking to system admin, definitely to cyber, and I enjoy all aspects of it.
Awesome. Yeah, so similar background, also Air Force. So I again, tested into it and what have you. But so what really put its hooks into you? Like why is it something you took with you when you left the military?
Well, when I left, and I could I originally originally, believe it or not, wanted to be a pharmacist. My family is in the medical field. My mother, my grandmother, everybody has some part in a hospital. And so they expected me to be in a pharmaceutical aspect because of I was good at math. I enjoyed chemistry and areas like that. But it was just drawn to me. I realized I had a niche. I realized that I had a niche to just break it down to understanding, to resolving, to helping people. I grew a gratification to assisting others and having a system and breaking it down and understanding. And it's forever growing. And so that will mean I will forever, continue to grow with it. And so opportunities always presented itself. I guess I have a high value in it. Many people always wanted to hire me. The pay is not bad. And so I just honestly grew to enjoy it. I enjoy mentoring those who I worked with. And another reason, I guess, would be I also didn't want to leave because I always tend to have been either is a door opener for others. Typically are either the first woman, first African American, or the only. And so if I remove myself from that career field, I felt like at that time, especially during that time, I wanted to continue to pave the way for somebody else. So while it was good, I could showcase that I am good. I could showcase that I am professional. I could showcase and encourage the hiring managers to hire more of us. And so that's a lot of why I stayed, besides the fact that I just enjoy the technology aspect of it.
Okay. And that passion, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people trying to figure out a path to getting in. So what would you kind of recommend, like a good stepping point, like a good entry into IT, if you are a person of color, a woman of color, or any of the
Yeah.
above?
I would say, first of all, a lot of people, and they're gonna do it, but if you can sit down and decide what you actually want to do in IT, that would save you a lot of headache, save you a lot of resources. It would save you because people just jump in and just dabble into something just to get into IT and realize they've wasted a lot of money, wasted a lot of time, and they're in a area of it that they don't know. So first off, I always recommend people to self-reflect. This th- 3 to 4 questions I always ask people that come to me. Do you want to work with people? That's first and foremost. Do you want to work with people? Do you want to deal with people, or do you want to be isolated? That's the very first question. Second question is, do you like writing reports? How do you feel about writing, or how do you feel about math? Or are you one of those, another question, are you one of those people that want to prevent things from happening, or do you want to fix things that has created some type of issue or outage? And those self-probing questions you have to ask yourself before you jump in, because once you answer those, you know what, I don't want to deal with nobody, I don't want to be around nobody, I really don't want to do math, I don't think I would like coding, I just, what, is there an area that I could probably lead people but kind of isolate myself? In fact, I don't want to lead people. Like, you need to ask yourself this, and that would direct you to what area, because it is so many areas, from project management to cyber, and even outside of that, when you find an area that you want to do, and let's say networking, that breaks down more to, if do you just want to be to yourself fixing stuff or preventing stuff or building stuff, or do you want to be with a group of people? So that's the very first thing that I advise people. Let's do self-probing to see what will make you happy first, because at the end of the day, in IT, money will come. People jump into it, I want to get in this because I heard makes a lot of money, and it does, but at some point you're going to want to quit because the money's not going to be worth it. So self probe, and then let's jump in and figure out what you want to do, because the money will always be there. You just have to dig for it. So
No, that's good. That's definitely good advice. Like isolation. That's that's why I went in networking right there. It's
yeah.
like, you know what? How can I fix things but not have to talk to the customer? You know what? Networking. That's my bread and butter. So no, that's really good. That also leads me to a bunch of other type of questions. Like, I think this is a really good conversation. So uh, I like what you said about the money will come and what have you. But I also remember I watched one of your your speeches. So in your Chelsea Pierre Success is Easy, you said something I was like, man, if only I knew to tell people this early on. You said that uh, it costs money to be in IT, basically. Like, my exact question to you was, what is the price of time and money to be, a leader in your field,
Oh man, it it's
in a ballpark, like not.
yeah. Oh man, it's thousands, right? It's thousands. It's not cheap. the direction I took to get from a novice to, lead positions, project lead positions, it costs it's about a couple of thousand. I'd
Right.
say around the ballpark. Within over the years, I probably hit about 30,000 easy, and I'm just saying at the minimum,
Right.
because what happens is that you one, of course, certifications. That's what the jobs want to see as evidence, right? Some people agree, some people don't agree upon about it, but at the end of the day, certifications into degrees, depending on who you're working for. But outside of the education in a collegiate area, you have to you have to read to excel. You're going to hit a certain peak in your career, and if you want to progress, you have to buy a home lab, you have to buy a virtual lab, you have to practice this stuff, like really be in tune to this stuff, on your off time, because it's no longer just a job. Sooner or later it's going to be a career. Sooner or later it's going to be a craft. That's like, somebody that's into art or stuff like that. They're always perfecting their craft, and you have to pay to perfect your craft. Go to conferences, network, see what's out there, buy articles, join, different platforms. What is changing? AI is constantly changing. Where are we now? You walk into Home Depot and you see your refrigerator talking to you, right? When did that start? Now we have, cars, electric cars, Teslas, stuff like that. How did that start? What is they doing? All of that is technology. So if you missed the wave, the big thing now is cloud, right? Cloud is booming, so cloud security is definitely expanding. So where are we from where we are, where we going, right? So, but you know you have to grow that, and that does takes time. That you have to educate yourself. To educate yourself farther, it costs money. So and you just have to do it to really get to as high as a pay grade as you want. Because when you do those interviews, they are you able to do this technical position? You close your eyes. Yes, this is this. Even if I like to give this advice to those who trying to get into a field that they have not gotten into. One thing that you can say, they say, hey, have you played with a firewall? This is an example. You're trying to apply for firewall admin. Have you touched a firewall? Well, no. Recruiter, or interviewer, but I have not worked in a firewall position, but I have a virtual firewall, and I've done this, and done that. So I know how to create these rules, and I have to change this. It's ACL. Like I understand it. I have practiced it. I just you love to end it with, I just do not know how your network works, but I have the technical capacity and the skills to do it. And so that comes with uh, practicing and doing things off of, your work hours. But that costs money. So the more money you want to make, the more money you're going to
Right. No, so hey, preach. It's going to start out with time and it's going to definitely end with you spending some money.
spend.
So I guess like so I want to take it through tiers, right? So
Sure.
let's go with technician through entrepreneur when it came to challenges. So from a technical standpoint, what challenges did you face? And now that you've transitioned to not working for yourself and then working for others, basically, like
Yeah.
now you're a platform of you're a service, right? You're in servitude to the people. So what were the challenges when you were a technician in the
Yeah.
field, and what are the challenges now that you're a boss in the field?
Oh man, there was challenges. There were challenges. Let's remember when I started, there was not a witty or a whiskey, women in technology or women in cybersecurity. There was not all of these groups that has rose to the challenge. So and then I applaud them for taking that initiative. So when I was when I started off, there was not a lot of women in IT. There was definitely not a lot of women in color. So at that time, black males, they started populating, they started coming, but what would happen, they would put black males in certain positions. Like it would be rare at that time to see a black male as a networker. it would be rare because they held networking at that time prestigious, and we're gonna give it to Caucasian, blue-eyed, blonde-haired male, and and that's how the media portrayed it. So when they did hiring, that's the ideal person that they put in those positions. So they would leave black males, probably PC support, other positions. And so a black woman, me, I come in and they see a woman, so they say, well, welcome at, you could do the inventory, you create the spreadsheets, you know you
Right.
can count the cables, clean out the storage room. I can't tell you how many storage rooms I have cleaned. You would do the domestic labor. So it was not a lot of jobs that they actually had me come in and actually do technical work. They had me more of a cleanup, and I didn't like it. It was many days I cried. It was many days I complained, and they basically was like, hey, we hired you. They would even give me like decent positions, like back then high positions, but would still have me doing domestic roles. If they would put me in front of a system to fix this or monitor this traffic. If something was down, okay, well you tell this gentleman, or you tell this gentleman, tell Bob, tell Joe. You don't worry about it. You just notate. You create a
Mm,
report and have a male fix it. And so it was quite quite challenging. So, but I took advantage over it. You know, while they had me not do nothing, I continued to educate myself in those roles, earned more certifications, and then grew to higher positions. And then as the world of IT was changing and more women was coming in, and we were showing that we had more skills, and I was showing I had more skills, and I was like, hey, most stern, like, I'm not doing this. You hired me to do this job. I'm going to do it, or you could find a male to do it, right? Of course, they had a lot of sexist comments, so unless fighting all that adversity continued to grow. And so again, like we said, as you grow, training, money become an issue. Have to grow. You have to grow with your money. Your money need to grow with you when it comes to IT. And so when we get to the business aspect of it, so a woman trying to open an IT company that's not nonprofit, it's when I go to these networking functions, it is, men looking like, oh, well, that's very impressive. It's like, is it,
right.
is it,
It's a
co- yeah,
microaggressions.
is it the company that's impressive, or is it me that's impressive? And so if I had a male explain, do the same pitch, would you, say that? So it is, they are, don't get me wrong, some are actually impressed that are in IT. Others are impressed that a woman is behind this and want to know who the rest of my leadership role and that
Mm,
that is, right? So it has its challenges, but it doesn't bother me. You keep pushing. It's just another area that gonna have to break the ceiling and show like, yes, women, we can be in, we can own STEM, companies that are not just nonprofit. Because a lot of them see nonprofit, oh, that's cute, you're helping the community, something what a woman would do. But no, we could run companies. So I definitely applaud all of those other women CEOs in these major multi-million dollar companies out there. So they are definitely opening the doors. So but it is hard. And then there are not a lot of I go to these tech functions, these tech networkings, and there are not a lot of us, just black individuals, period. They're not a lot. They are really not a lot. So it's sad, but we we're
right.
shifting. So
No, definitely. So, perseverance, right? It
yeah,
seems to be like one of your of many character traits that you have. That seems to be something that kind of runs the gamut of the, from technician all the way to
yeah,
CEO. What other character traits do you believe kind of allow you to make that jump, like to go uh, from being a technician, being the top of your craft to
yeah,
no, I run a business where I'm
yeah.
on top of my craft, and people who are master the craft work for me and provide a service as well.
You you have to. So I'm different from a lot of people. People say stay humble, but I believe stay prideful. Have a
Okay.
pride about yourself. just have pride. The speech of stay humble. I mean, it's a beautiful speech. I mean, it's beautiful. Stay humble. Stay true to yourself.
Right.
you know, all of that. It's good. You should stay self-centered, but have pride about what you're doing, because others, you being around other people, and they have pride about what they're doing, and their pride will try to overshadow yours. Their accomplishments will try to purposely overshadow what you're doing. So have some type of pride, have strong shoulders, strong backbone, and have pride as to what you're doing. Speak in pride, speak in this, speak with assertiveness. I do this because of this, because I'm passionate about this. I believe in it. These are the boundaries I've crossed, and I will excel and I will accomplish stuff. And you have to carry that in your heart, your mind, and vocally, and it will be respected. It's going to be respected regardless. It's either going to be respected or not. By the end of the day, it's going to be acknowledged. And so that is definitely what I will advise people. Just have pride, have a, have pride in what you are doing, and walk in it. Because sometimes things gonna get hard, and that inner pride will turn to self encouragement, and it will push you through, some tough times. So
No,
especially,
that's
yeah, especially look in the mirror, things are not going wrong, or somebody, have told you no, or they don't want to work with you, or, don't want to, different things like that, accept the contract, you look in the mirror and you say, you know what? They don't have to, because I'm this over this and over this, and I will excel, and they will turn back and regret, right? Kind of like what they what they do behind the scenes at Shark Tank. Like they didn't want to fund me, but it's
right.
so. But yeah,
That's definitely empowering. Like, so that goes, that transitions. No, that's not the right word. Transcends. There you go. That transcends the IT, right?
yeah,
But that's definitely not something that's not stereotypical IT. Like IT people are usually seen as being like meek and being
yeah,
isolated to themselves and things of that
yeah,
nature. So that's definitely something that's a muscle you need to work on if you want to make that
yeah,
transition.
yeah,
Like I like that. That's definitely uh, something that definitely preach to people.
yeah.
Um, but with that being said, so what is a realistic goal to make that transition? Like how do you know uh, that this is right for you? Like how did you know that this was like I need to go to the next step? Like there is more ceiling here than where I'm at. That possibly no ceiling at all.
What made me cross over to starting a company was, again, as I was explaining earlier, networking. I joined different tech organizations, and so there was a organization, nonprofit, Blacks in Technology, BIT, right? And so they have different chapters in different cities. They didn't have one in Florida, and so they was looking for somebody to open a chapter in Miami. And so at that time, of course, living in Tampa, Florida, I'm like, why Miami? We have Tampa, so I reached out to the founder of it, LinkedIn. He directed me to one of his directors, and I created a pitch of, hey, I understand you look at Miami. That is a very good hot spot. Let's do, how about Tampa? Because, Bill Gates, sorry, my cat hopped on me. Because, they put, a lot of these top tech heavies put a lot of money in Tampa trying to go technologically. So I made that pitch. He said, okay. He said, I'll have you be the chapter president. And so I came back and said, you know what? Let's do Central Florida, which covers Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete, and Gainesville. I believe it was, no, Orlando. And so I said, let's do Central Florida, because people travel all of those cities to come to Tampa for conferences. So he was like, well, that's a lot of cities. Can you think you can handle it? I'm like, yes, because, yes, right. So but nonetheless, when I took that role, I seen a need, because now I'm surrounded by people from different backgrounds within their city and their issues and technology and what's happening. So to really expand and help our community more, you can't really do the capacity to what you want to do in somebody else's business, right? So I had to step out and create my own to really run it and expand and provide the resources that I felt and believed and that was asked for by a lot of those individuals. So what pushes me to ceiling is understanding what a need is and how to fix it, because a person could easily have stayed where they are, got comfortable and say, hey, I got mines, you can get yours whenever you get it, best of luck. But it takes a different type of person to say, hey, mines will come, but to see you excel or want you to excel, that's it. Like my company could be, my company can never make another penny. But if I know that I helped one or two people get farther in their career, I've done my job. And that is it. That's all I want to do, because nobody took the time to help me in my career. I learned it by bumping my head. I learned it by failing. I learned it by tears. I learned it by hardships. I learned it by different ways that if somebody would have just said, hey, what you trying to do? Let me help you. I probably would have grew faster. So because I had to go through that, I don't want nobody else to have to go through that if I could reach them. And that's realistically why I keep pushing, why I keep busting ceilings, why I decided to make this national, to hit different cities, to market in different cities, to join different conferences in different cities and talk and just showcase, hey, you know, my company has these resources, join and I'll give you what you need.
No, that's awesome. So that goes into another reason why I definitely want you on the podcast, video, whatever you want to call the platform at this time. Was just because that's the same thing I heard when I listened to the same speech, that success is easy, where you stated, if you have the ability to look back and say, I could have taken the easier route, teach the next person that easier route, and that seems to definitely be your mantra moving forward. So I think that's awesome, because a lot of people are in it for themselves, or they might reach a certain position and they don't want to give that hand up, not a hand out, but a hand up. Like, hey, listen, I can be your sponsor. I can get you
Yeah,
to that next level. And if you exceed me, then that's fine. You know what I mean? I did my job.
yeah,
Um, do you think that comes from just your personal life, or is it some of that infused from being in the military?
it comes from my personal life. Um, I as a child, I had to pretty much raised to have to be independent, right? Both of my parents, they worked. I was the oldest. They worked. They took care of bills. So if I wanted to make good grades and if I wanted to do this, I had to do it. I didn't have, the help or the, hey Chelsea, we see you struggling, or the guidance counselor in the schools say, hey, I believe in you. Let me help you. Let me guide you. I didn't have that. I didn't have any of that, right? And so some friends I hung with, some of them, excelled, some of them didn't do anything, but none of them, nobody, yeah, I grew. So they teach, self accountability and all of this stuff, and try and push it into people. But my life was self account. How I was raised, it was self accountability. Like you are either going to make it or you're not, period. And that's just how I was raised. The only excuses that I could have is excuses that what I didn't do. So I didn't have, a mentor growing up or anything like that. Even when I started a business, I really didn't have all of that stuff. So if I wanted advice, I had to reach out to somebody. Hey, make myself known. Hey, I see you doing this. Can you please take time to show me how you did it? Some would say yes, some would say no, some would have to, a lot of, some, few, very few would have time, a lot wouldn't. And that was even when I was in the Air Force, they reflect, mentorship and stuff like that. But my leadership, they didn't have time. My leadership
Mm.
didn't have time. So that was the life that God set before me. Like, hey, nobody's gonna help you. You gotta figure it out yourself. And because of all those years of, man, you know, I just, I don't want nobody to have to go through that. So the help that I wish I would have had, instead of being, upset, burdened, depressed, or, have a wall up towards it, I will pass it to others. So anybody that hit me up, hey, I have advice, I need help. I try to make myself as available as possible because it hurts. trying to get to something, and you just don't have that help. So
No, that definitely. Like, that leads me to ask you the question, and it's a cliche interview question, right? Like
sure.
for like a job interview, what is a failure or pitfall that you overcame to be, to reach that success, basically?
Uh,
I hate to ask that question, but I mean, like,
hmm.
I think it flows pretty well in here, only
Yeah,
because there's
no.
probably a lot of people who feel stuck. It's like, no, no, you're so close.
I well, I have, let's see. I have I can tell you my current pitfall that I have not quite overcame yet or battling to overcome. I'm very impatient. I I have seen I've seen multiple companies and I follow multiple companies, and I ignore the fact of how long they've been open, but I just see what they're doing. I look at other people accomplishes and I see what they're doing and I see what they're being, and so I I reflect my accomplishment timeline on what they have, and so I'll look at somebody. I was a, if you could do it, I could do it. Or really, if it has been done, then I don't see why I cannot accomplish it myself. And so they got companies and now, multi-billion dollar companies. Well, why is not mine a multi-billion dollar company? There's a
Right,
multi-billion dollar company. Why is mine not doing it yet? And so uh the idea of having to go through the process, the idea of you have to go to a process has always been my downfall, my weak fall of just acknowledging that in all aspects, right? I want to go to college. Well, why do I have to, I want to hurry up and get into college. Well, you have to take the GRE. I don't want to take the GRE. Just go ahead and put me in
right,
college. I'm gonna pay you, right? So it's I have an issue with understanding it's going to be a process. It's going to be a process, and that's a very common issue with a lot of people, like, hey, why am I not where I want to be right now? And I still have my moments of it and have to calm myself down and realize I'm making great initiative, right? So uh what I now, how I look at it, am I going up or am I going down? So instead of me feeling like it's a steadfast, I'm either going up or I'm going down. And so that what calms me down. So I look at it like, while I'm not here, then I have to realize, well, I'm not, you know, descending in the direction I'm going. And so that calms me. And that's why I would tell a lot of people, if you're trying to start a business, you're trying to start in your IT career, um, and you feel like, well, I'm not there yet. I've done this. I have these certs. They haven't gave me I haven't made six figures yet. What's going on? Is it this? Is it that? It's coming.
right,
It's coming. So it's a process. And so you need to know what that process entails of. So you can look at others and, like, I'll give it like Facebook, Zuckerman. I didn't know that Zuckerman um had a VC, right, venture capitalist behind him. I thought, and what was posted, right, because I knew his father had money. Uh, he went to Harvard, so I thought how it was portrayed. He made Facebook. Facebook grew, then shoo, right. I didn't know that he had stakeholders and people that invested into Facebook early for it to expand. And so, and
gotcha.
it's a lot of, you don't know what the backside that people had to go through to get to where they at. They just gonna show the glamour and show, yeah, I came from here to here, right?
Right,
So it is a lot like PayPal, right? On PayPal, it took a couple of years before PayPal became PayPal. So, and PayPal really, uh, people didn't people thought PayPal was worthless, right? And they really, really didn't go boom, they ultimate boom until they sold it to eBay. And so, but you don't know that. So it's like, just it's a process, and just let the process work itself. But understand what is the process, where you're trying to go, and continue trying to break and just go through that channel. And that is hard because you see others doing it and they killing it, but we don't know what tears and what headaches or what help and what support that they had to get there that you don't have. And so that's what calms me down.
Got you. Patience. Yeah, that's definitely a hard one. Especially when you make a video that's similar to another video that has 70,000 hits, you got 10. You're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
but you just don't know. You don't know like what that person already had, or
Yeah. That's
the
true.
algorithm blessed them over you because of these reasons.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's definitely good advice. So when it comes to Blerds leading technology, so BOT, right?
Mhm.
Uh, so what is your measure of success for those people who are members? Like, so when they purchase their package and things of that
Yeah.
nature, like, walk me through the process.
So so when they purchase their packages, so like somebody comes, hey, purchase the elite membership package, one of my main ones. Okay. What happens is that I send them an automatic email, welcome, and I have a list. This is all what we're going to provide for you. And so from jump, what certifications do you want? Because they get a free certification voucher of any certification they want. I believe it's every 5 months. I don't see the details right now, but they get a free certification, any certification they want every 5 months. So it's like, hey, what career are you looking for? Do you know what certification do you want? Let me know the certification. Um, Here is all of the links to my training, free, computer-based training. I offer free physical books. Hey, what technical book do you want? I partner with some great companies that will offer me and deliver those books. What is, of course, I give out the swagware. So what is, right now swagware is the the max. So give me your address. I need your address anyway to send you the books, send you the face mask. um, like, hey, when are you ready to spend? Another question, here, let me know when you're ready to speak to the resume editor. Let me know when you're ready to speak to the IT career consultant. Let me know. And it's kind of like, when do you want to speak to the resume editor? When do you want to speak to the IT career consultant? When do you know what day do you, or give me what span do you want to speak to the business consultant? Do you have a business? you know so it's all of those questions, so I could get them from there in touch with all of the people that I'm working with, and it just provides those resources. And so from at that point, you're giving all the access, you're giving all the tools. I'm working on your vouchers to give it to you, have it ready for you. You stay active in for 5 months. As soon as that, send your email. Congratulations, here's your voucher. Good luck on your test. Um, you don't pass, it's all right. Wait 5 more months, we're gonna give you another voucher.
Okay.
So, but because it's every couple of months, we'll send you a free cert, right? Um, my goal, it's weird because I'm quite different. I I know I've done my part when somebody says, "Hey, thank you for your package. My career has grown. I do not need your services no more." I'll probably
Okay.
I'll probably clap, because a lot of companies, they want to keep members, which is great. That raises revenue, but my goal is to hear, I do not need it no more. And I would say, I do not need it no more, and I have passed. I have somebody else that can use your resource, and then they bring somebody else along, right? So it is, I've taken what I needed, and I brought somebody else along so they can excel, and it is the rotating door
Okay.
that makes me happy.
Okay. No, that's awesome. So it's like you kick them out of the nest and they fly.
That's it.
They're on their way doing their thing.
Yeah.
Now I like that. That's a really good motto. Most people are like, "Nah, I want them back.
Yeah.
I want them back immediately." No, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. So I remember when we talked in the past, you spoke about the not the broker, but uh, what was it? What's the terminology for the people you sync up with the customer to fund them, basically?
Oh, the venture
Um,
capitalists.
there you go, venture
Venture
capitalists. I should know
capitalists,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
So how does that process work?
so I so with well, let's do. let's do a little history real fast. So
Okay.
what I realized is that just like IT, there are not a lot of venture capitalists that funds Black companies. So I was told that, well, one of the reasonings was that, Black owners don't have the type of companies that a lot of venture capitalists are looking for. Um, take of how you want to take it. That's what I was told. But either way, that is another initiative. That's why they are having a lot of Black owned venture capitalists to help support and fund us, Black small businesses. So that's a little tidbit. So those who want to get into IT and start your own company, do it, because I believe it's only 1% of African Americans that have, it's something low like that, have Black startup companies in tech. In tech, that is. But nonetheless, so that's
Right.
a little history. So with that, I partner with venture capitalists. So what happens is you speak to my business consultant. Of course, that's free of charge with you. I believe I have it every 3 months. Yeah, every 3 months you speak to him for an hour. And because one, I have it expanded like that because he's awesome. You shouldn't have to. You can reach out to him. I believe y'all set your own schedule, but you shouldn't have too many meetings with him because he's going to give you a full, hey, this is what you should do, step by step strategic guide. Then in the next 3 months, hey, where are you at, what are you doing, and a process rolls like that. So what happens is that he'll let you know and let my company know when you're ready to speak to a venture capitalist, because you have to be ready. You have to have your paperwork, your pitches, all of that ready, right, so they can approve you. So he lets us know. I would give a different contract because what happens if my venture capitalist, funds you, we automatically get, 3% of your equity. So that's just what it is. We believe in your company, so we will get 3%. So that is, and that's not a lot. That's not a lot. So after that, you agree, okay, you can have 3%. Okay, great. I will put you in connection with the venture capitalist. I'll put you in connection with them anyway. If they fund you, then I'll get 3%. So you're ready. Business consultant has prepared you, sending your pitch decks or speaking to however, whoever. And so what they do is, of course, they'll fund you, get 3%. Good luck on your business. But if they do not, if they do not fund you, then they have to provide a report to me explaining, why they didn't fund your company. And so one, that gives them accountability because like I said, venture capitalists, the percentage is low. And two, that lets me know and lets my business consultant know, like, hey, we didn't fund them because of this, move forward, help him or her work on this. So, or have this ready and send them back to us and we will probably fund them the next time. Or let the rest of your members know that's trying to cross over to have all of this. So it all around, it helps us. It helps me keep them accountable and it helps us like, hey, this wasn't right. Send them back when it's fixed. So we can continue, to have that. Because what I would like to see is all of my business members get the funding that they need. And so what I'm working on is multiple venture capitalist companies. So it could be kind of, hey, you could speak to all my venture capitalists, whoever offers you the better deal, that's who you should go with. That's at your discrepancy. But here is multiple, about, 3 to 5 venture capitalists that you can, you know, uh, shoot your shot with.
Gotcha.
So
That's awesome. So it truly is cradle to grave, right? You can come
yeah,
in not knowing much about IT, and then you
yeah.
could, if you so were inclined, start your own business and be funded
Yeah,
to do so.
and that is how that package is created. I have 5 packages, so that is just one of my packages that I offer, one of the popular ones. So yeah,
Okay. All right. No, that's what's up. So we'll definitely at the end, I definitely want you to let us know where we can find you at and all that good stuff, as well as it'll be posted in the notes. But before we end, like what I like to do with just on our show in general is we kind of end with what you've been playing and what you've been doing and what you've been reading. So I think in your case, obviously, to pick the brain of a CEO, like what kind of media are you ingesting when you have time?
that's, I've just finished a book. And I do not know what a book. Hold on. I actually want to show the book. If you don't mind, I will grab it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, I just finished reading it, and it was interesting because it just I went to Books and Noble, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it just drew me because of the color was blue, and I said, "Oh, that's a pretty, that's a
Okay,
pretty color book." And I read a title, read a couple of pages, not realizing who the author was.
okay,
And typically people see the title, they see the author, research the author, and that is what you should do. Research who is talking to you. Don't don't go my route. But I like to read the first couple of pages first to see how I feel about it. Intro, the back, just first couple in the first back, last pages. And so I'm like, it kind of resonated with me. And let me actually show you the book if
okay.
you don't mind. Hold
Yeah,
on
yeah,
one.
no problem. I'll keep talking to the audience.
Yes,
This is good TV right here. So while Chelsea's doing that, so what have I been ingesting, right? So I've been watching Amend on Netflix. Amazing. So Will Smith, you got Samuel Jackson, you got uh, Marshala Ali, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's gonna be the new Blade. Humongous actor, right? So I was telling everybody about Amendment on Netflix. I
oh
started that
yeah.
today. Oh, it's
Oh,
powerful.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely talks about the 14th Amendment and just its impact on us as a culture. So if they have not seen it, definitely check it out. I'm on episode 3. I've already been from happy to sad and angry, like full range. You know what I mean? Like it's like watching Rosewood or Amistad. You like I shouldn't watch this. 'Cause I'm gonna get mad, but you watch it anyway, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I watched it. But back to you, ma'am.
Yeah, no problem. It is 0 to 1 notes on startups and how to build the future, right?
Okay.
And so this guy right here was one of the original founders of PayPal. And so
Oh,
I did not realize that until um, reading deeper into the book. And so because what he did outlined other companies, but what this book and I finished it. It gives it's for startups and it gives notes to what to do, kind of what to do, what not to do, what to realize, what not to realize, just the mental capacity and how you should or shouldn't just advice on running the company. He compares it to other major CEOs at major corporations. So it's kind of, hey, I'm just warning you, don't do this because this is what happened to these CEOs of these multiple companies, and this is how their companies failed by going this route. So don't do that route. So it's very informative. So I finished that book. I I do get on YouTube and I watch a lot of stories of major corporations of how they started their business. Again, one that keeps me aligned with it's okay. Everybody has start, finish, and challenges. So it keeps me aligned. It keeps me understanding there is a journey, there is a process, and to be patient. And I just watched several CEOs and where they how they started, what they went through, and where they at, and what they did with their company after it grew. So I started watching not so much the beginning, but what companies are and what they did with a company after it became successful. And so a lot of people ridicule me. They was like, hey, these companies are already, making it. Why are you watching like what are they doing now or what are they trying to do? Shouldn't you start off seeing, how to start? And that's not in my mind, I'm like, well, one day I'm gonna get there. And I just like to know what mistakes they made after it was established, after it was grown to a certain level, what mistakes did they make? So I won't make those mistakes that they made and tried to fix. So that is what I prepare myself for the future by watching things that already has happened or where other people are at and what they're doing from where I am. So when I get there, it could be familiar and I get there like, you know what? These companies, these CEOs have done that and this was the mistake they made. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
okay. No, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I think that's really good advice. I'm definitely glad you shared that, especially that book. Like, I gotta check that out myself. Like, I didn't know that was a book or who it was by. So I think that would come in handy
Yeah.
um, on my journey and what have you. So before we wrap it up, two
Sure.
questions.
Sure.
Question one: what is next for Chelsea Pierre? And where can we find you at? That's question number two.
What is next? So, if everything is going the track that is going, Blerds Technology will have a scholarship package in at least one college in every 50 states. So that is the journey that is going
Okay.
right now, and that's what we're fighting to do. So you college students, if you put me in touch with your directors, your computer science equivalent directors, we're trying to put those scholarships into your colleges, and so that's the plan. Um,
All right. We're going to try this one more time. Where can we find you at?
you can find me on LinkedIn. You
All
can
right.
find me. You can find me on LinkedIn. And so connect with
Okay.
me on LinkedIn. Send me a message. You could also connect with my company on LinkedIn. Follow my company on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
All right. And that's Blur's Leading Technology
Yes.
at .com.
.com. Yep.
.com. All right. There it is. So sorry for the technical difficulties. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
think this was an awesome interview, and I think your platform definitely is not impressive because you're a woman of color, but impressive for all it's doing for people in general. Like you don't have to be a person of color to be in it, but it definitely does look out for the community. So I appreciate your time.
Oh yes.
All right. And remember, you can watch this podcast audio video thing that's happening uh, 7 days early, completely ad free on our Patreon. So the other side of the firewall on Patreon. And then it goes out to free feeds to include YouTube and where you get your podcast services at,
Yep.
also called the other side of the firewall. So definitely hit us up. Follow us on all the social medias. Go to www.theothersideofthefirewall.com. And that's the anchor where you can find everything to
Oh yeah.
include this interview. So thank you.
Yep.
All right.